Hey everyone, it's Kabi, and today we're gonna watch the one-on-one game between the dark and the light player. In the bottom left corner appears Rigard, the guy from the development team and actually our lead game designer. So he decided to take part in the recent community tournament for the Captain League players, and Rigard just recently joined Captain League, so he's slightly above 3k ranking, and his opponent is Cherry, who is sitting comfortably as his 5k .999. So it is a kind of favorite to Cherries, but probably Rigard is not that far behind in terms of unit pumping, because he reached Captain comfortably with Premium and Golden Battle Pass, but still he should have been behind a little bit at least. But anyway, the interesting case is that the dev team is back in the tournaments. It is the first player of ours who actually reached the Captain League, so I'm not there yet, trying to get there, but yep. Can't find enough time to play enough games. But anyway, let's see what Rigard comes up with. And the Jerry is an interesting guy. I didn't see a lot of his games, but I filmed his, not really his, but 3 against 3 game from his clan, where he took part, and he was probably the most interesting one to watch, because he went snipers, slow assault, positioning play. I kinda like this type of stuff, so I was curious what Jerry could have tried here on this map that, well, I don't think it is the best example of our map making skill. It is kinda okay, and it works good for the campaign, for one-on-one, where I can spoil that we are about to remove a lot of big maps and kinda rewind a few of them that can be rewinded, but unfortunately this map can't be rewinded. You can't really replace the items or base starting positions on this map, so we will actually remove it very soon, but in the tournament it was still present, so we are seeing how Rigard goes a lot of stuff actually on his 2 base stack. He went 2 rocks, Totem of Forks, Altar of Heroes and the Workshop, so it seems like he's gonna play the Wargriders with the Aeronauts. So it is kinda a meta build. Rigard played a couple of Necromancers with the Workers pushes earlier in the game, so I think that he concluded that the opponent he defeated previously, Fear KK, already shared the info with Jerry that Rigard is playing that stuff, so he probably trying to shift it. But interestingly, Jerry decided to go 2 factory copters, it seems, and it is actually the bad news for Rigard, who is going now 2 Rex Varks. He's out of any resources for either Grok or Aeronauts, so this build he kinda have a lot of production, but it's hard to produce unit out of all of these buildings at the same time. But same stuff with Jerry, in fact, because he has 2 factory. He can't build that many copters now, but actually he have quite a bit of resources in the bank. I wonder why he's not building anything, probably busy with his micro, or maybe he could have been disconnected, I don't know, but let's see if any events take part while he's starting his helicopters. It is a mobile game, right, so someone might call you and you might be not be able to play during the call, so if you don't really want to be distracted from the tournament gate, I of course strongly recommend to use the Don't Disturb mode. while you are playing. Probably you can't always use it, right? In the normal games, because something important might be on the phone. But I mean, if you play the tournament, probably you should really free the time for that, because if you can't, then why you sign up? Well, at least it is how I perceive the tournaments. Probably the other guys just play for fun, don't bother too much. Well, I think that I'm not fond with this build, but actually, if we see on the timing, it's not even 6-minute mark, and the third citadel is coming up, so probably it's just Cherry who went the quickest castle 3, and the reason for that is obviously that he was gonna play the quick bikers, so he believes the bikers. A lot of players believe the biker nowadays, I think. Many think that they are kinda imba, at least on the bigger maps, and this map is quite big. And bikers really work here, kinda supposed to. Players usually start off with the knights copters into the bikers, but what Jerry does here is he goes bikers straight. I wonder if it might actually work, because what I'm worried about here is that the 7:30, the crucial timing, I'm not sure if Cherry is gonna have the goods army supply by that time. He can kinda start bikers, but he's still a bit short on resources, but he also miss a little amount of production cycles. And what Rigger does in the meantime is he clears up the second mine before the 7th minute, and he's gonna do what the StarCraft player called an echo cheese. Not really on the highest level, but yeah, he's gonna make the very quick second base. I wonder what he gonna build with this many gold, but you can kinda apply the gold, but dark players also need the wood, and if you hire a lot of workers to mine and to cut, then you will just have less supply for the army, right? Well, it might still work with the skeleton archers, maybe, but anyway. Now the aeronauts again, the helicopters. Kinda looks good to me. And Rigger tries to micro his Vark Riders, try to keep hitting the bikers. The problem with that is that when you actually come along with the bikers, they keep shooting. But I'm not sure if that's too much of a problem if the amounts is equal. Oh, that was somewhat a magic blast. Because what I mean is that bikers sometimes miss when they shoot on the run, and Vark Riders on the other side, on the other part, they deal more damage when they hit on the run, right? So it's kind of better for the Vark Riders comparing to where they just hit each other, stand and steal. But you really need to maintain the micro, of course. So, alright, what Rigger has here is actually switching to the X-Masters against the bikers, and X-Masters are kind of fine against the bikers. The problem for the X-Masters are not the bikers, but the scrolls, because as all the ground units, it is what the top players often tell us, is the problem that the ground units are very vulnerable to the abilities and to the scrolls, and the air units are not. So this is why you can't really counter a lot of stuff with the ground units. And bikers are probably the good exclusion from that, because they are not really vulnerable to the scrolls, because they have a good durability against the magic damage, and they're also mobile, so they can leave the area. But Alchemist also come into play, somewhat an underrated hero in the current meta. he's still quite important because he can shoot air and he can also protect the units with the aura and also heal the units. So, well, he doesn't have a lot of survivability. This is why you should always have the passive in the fight. So you should always throw the active in the fights to actually have the passive. I just suppose that you guys know how the alchemists work, because if you don't, you ought to go to the army section and read about it. It is very important. Yeah, he gains this passive while the active on the recharge. So he cooks and then he produces the passive. Right. Just like right now. So he threw the portal and he received the smoke. Rigard takes this chest. This chest I'm not sure who took. Yeah. A little trade, 1 units on 1. Cherry spent a bit more mana. This is why Rigard have more right now. And he's about to force a fight. He has such an old school army. Domino used to win a lot of tournaments with this kind of units composition. A lot of change since then though. We nerfed the X-Masters and the Dark Heroes too. Just because how good Domino was with this kind of army. Yeah, back in the day, guys. But, yup, Cherry keeps spamming what makes sense to him. Bikers for their mobility and guardsmen just in order to tank. They are kinda neutral against the X-Masters. They look good in the Paladin's aura with the additional armor. But it doesn't look good because Rigard has quicker production. And the reason for him to have that is this cheeky second base. Because now, by the way, now that I say that, I remember that I played against Rigard on this base, and he took the same base, pretty much the same cheeky base on this map. So it's probably his pocket strategy on this map. Yeah, it was fun. I remember myself killing the main base, not realizing that the mine is already mined out, so there's no reason for even bothering about it. I just couldn't understand that he could have taken that base that early. So yeah, good rockfall, a lot of units, and Cherry just falls back and loses the game straight against this kind of economic cheese with a good pressure with the X-Masters. Many players consider X-Masters useless and Biker Simba, but you see how this may change drastically if the players just do the right echo. Yeah, I think that was a nice game to watch, because Rigard really shows how the game may work differently from what players thought it should have been. Maybe you can try this kind of strategy, let us know if it works. And I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching, make sure to sub the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.